Alright, so I wanted to make this little audio over recording while I'm doing this practice because we use this particular flow a lot in Bhūta Yoga. I find that this flow that we'll be doing, a Vinyasa is a flow. And the word Vinyasa means to place in a special way. And so what we do with Vinyasas is we take usually two postures, and using the inhale and the exhale, we move into and out of those shapes. And with the principle of spanda, which is a principle that we talk about with the element of air, this is a particular principle working specifically with the breath and the movement of the breath, and how the movement of the breath creates a response in the body. And so what we want to do with our vinyasas is learn how to use the breath to accompany our movement, and not only accompany our movement, but get to a point where it's the breath which is creating the movement, and the movement is actually happening inside of the breath. And you can see here I am in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. The inside of the legs are very strong, the elbows are strong, and in a moment I'm going to inhale, and then I'll lift my heels, bend my knees, and I'm going to slowly lower my knees and lift my chest. You see that? And then I come into an arch back position. And then from here I start my exhale, and then I start to round my spine. I push into the feet, and as my tailbone rounds, I'm lifting into downward facing dog. And so what I'm doing is I'm starting my breath before my movement, and then my movement follows. I end up in the finished position, and my inhale is still continuing, and then I start the exhale, and then I start to round, and I'm going to continue moving as I'm exhaling, and the exhale is going to continue through the end of the movement. And so this demonstrates a very important aspect of our practice, that one, we're not moving beyond the point that our breath will allow us to move. Notice that there's nothing extreme here. I'm not going to an extreme. I'm moving very slowly, intentionally, with stability. I'm going to just pause the video for a moment. So I'm moving into downward facing dog, and I want to talk about this principle of stability as well, right? The principle of sthira, which comes from the element of the earth. And so with stability, I'm looking at how well connected am I to the physical structure of my body and the alignment. And this idea of stability, it starts in the feet. And so I'm working, you can even look and see my feet are really active and strong here. The ankles are strong, the toes are strong, the arches of the feet are strong. And I'm trying to get this inner leg line active. We talk about that in the video on the yin meridian, and I'm going to keep that inner leg line active. I'm going to go ahead and press play. And so with that inner leg line, it's like the inside of the legs moving all the way up through the spine, all the way past right at the top of the head, and then round, squeeze the legs and push through the elbows, but also strong with the legs, so the hands and the feet take weight equally. I'm doing one more. This is a really nice vinyasa just to kind of get in the groove with the principle of the element of water, the element of fluidity, of ease. And so now I'm stepping my right leg forward, and I'm going to move into a flow, lunge to straight legs. So I go from lunge, and then I straighten my front knee, and I bring my chest and forehead towards my shin. Same principle applies. Breath encompasses movement. Move as much inside of the breath as the structure allows, and not beyond. And in this lunge to straight leg flow, there's same thing is happening. The legs are strong, especially the back leg. A lot of times people forget to stay connected to their back leg, and they lose the connection through that foot. And notice that it's like my legs are working together and the inside of the legs are working together. And so there's a nice coordination between the limbs. I'm taking my time in the transitions, so when I get to the end of the shape and the inhale finishes, there's a slight pause, and then I follow with the next breath. And so really noticing those pauses, we call it a kumbhaka, is a really important aspect of our sadhana to cultivate not only the stability, but now we're talking about the element of space, the sense of fullness, of wholeness. This is the principle of purna. And so you may be able to see, even in such a simple flow like this one, there are all of the elements and all of the principles are present in my experience, and so I can pay attention to all of them. Looks like I'm going to step back into downward facing dog. And I'm coming back into the tabletop position. Notice the fluidity of the motion. And then I'm going to move back into balasana, child's pose. Rest my hairline, my forehead on the mat, backs of the wrists on the mat. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and just share last couple things. The child's pose, it's like a lot of times people get into child's pose and all of a sudden everything goes limp. It's a resting pose, but it's not a completely passive pose. So it's relaxing, but we want to keep all of the energy that we've been accumulating in our body alive. And so how we do that is we stay alive through the limbs, through the ankles, through the feet, through the hands. Keeping the navel back as I inhale in child's pose allows the breath to move into the back body. And then if I'm aware of where my forehead is resting on the ground and where my shins are resting on the ground, and I exhale, I can give my weight over to the earth, to the ground beneath me. And then by giving my weight over to the earth and staying with the stability that the earth provides on the exhale, and then bringing that in on the inhale, I'll notice a big difference in how this shape feels. And I'm going to go ahead and finish the video, and that will be enough for today. And I hope this is helpful as a tutorial to continue supporting you in integrating the different principles of practice and showing you how even a simple flow like this, you can incorporate all of these different aspects and layers into your practice.